glad that you joined us this evening for another episode of Family Time Today. My name is Mary Victor and this is my husband.
Good evening, viewers.
Honey, you have a name?
Your husband.
My husband.
I'm the husband.
He's my husband. Okay. My husband's name is Victor. Okay?
Yes, that's my name.
That's awesome. So we just want to appreciate you viewers for writing in, calling in. We're still doing that. We want to encourage you to please call. Please write in. If you're watching us from anywhere in Africa, please let us know that you're watching. Okay? Let us know by a phone, if you can't call because it's an international call, you can also leave us an email and say, you know what, we are watching and we are blessed, or we're not blessed, or this is what suggestions that what changes that you can make. And God bless you as you do that. Today we're going to be talking about something also. As you know, we try to bring up topics that are very familiar with us, things that live among us.
Things that are relevant
to
our community.
Yes, so because we're trying to be real here. This is a real family show. And we pride ourselves that you can have your children watching no problem. Okay? Because you don't have to close their eyes or close their ears at some point.
Or wait until they go to bed.
Or wait until they go to sleep, So it's a family-friendly program. And on today we're going to be talking about an issue, again, that is not so palatable, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Married but living single.
So you have a license but you're acting like you don't. That's surreal. Yeah, married but living single.
How could one be married and living as a single person? It's almost like, you can't have the two words together. But some people try to live the life, together. They live the life, they're married, but they're single. So, give us some scenarios how is that possible?
Yeah, you can. I think there are people who do this so well that you even assume that they are married and also living as married. But in reality, at home, they are married, but they are not living as married. One scenario that is very prevalent, that is almost a cancer in our community here, is where you have a husband and a wife that are married. The whole world knows they are married. Even they know that they are married. But they live in the same house. One lives upstairs, the other one lives downstairs. They have padlocks on their door. They cook their own food. They sleep on their own bed. They live apart. That's one scenario.
They probably have their own refrigerator.
Yeah, I don't know if they have refrigerators.
In their rooms.
Well, they might have refrigerators in their room. But one comes down, cooks his food or her food, and takes it upstairs, takes it to the master bedroom. Usually the men leave the master bedroom to the women. For whatever reason.
Sometimes the men are in the master bedroom.
They take the master bedroom.
And then the lady, the wife goes upstairs because that's where the kids are most of the time.
Okay.
Because in the United States of America, the way they build the homes, single family residential homes, upstairs you have more rooms and the master bedroom is downstairs. And I think some areas in Africa too, that's the way the construction is done. But I think sometimes in Africa you have the master bedroom upstairs. And the guest room downstairs. So we've also heard situations where the wife is sleeping in her own room and the husband is sleeping in his own room. They are in the same house.
In the same house. They go to the same house through the same door.
Go through the same door, but once they enter the door, the woman has her room, the man has his room. Wow. They have certificate of marriage.
They have license.
They are married.
They are blessed.
When they get off the street, people know these people are married. This is Mr. Jack and Mrs. Jack. And if your name is Jack, you're watching us, I'm not referring to you. I'm just using it as a name. It could be Victor, when people see them, they look, you know. Some of them attend functions outside the home together.
Oh yeah, they do it, and that's the one that really baffles me. When it comes to party, they either arrive at the party separately or they arrive jointly. And when they do, they also keep acting as husband and wife.
They sit on the same table.
Sit at the same table with the same old friends that they normally sit with, and life just goes on.
But then as soon as the party's over, the man finds his own car, the woman finds her own car, and of course, when they get home, everybody to your own room.
Your own tent.
So, I don't know, but this is happening in some homes. And some of these homes have maintained this kind of lifestyle for 3 years, some 5 years, some 10 years.
From day one, some from day one that they got married. Just the lifestyle they've chosen to live. We're married for the purposes of having children. Other than that, you do your thing, I do my thing.
So they're separated physically, no intimacy. They are separated financially. They're not putting anything together. No relationship, no intimacy. Their finances are, you run your own, I run my own, and because we are, we live in the same house, you pay this bill, I pay this bill. Kind of like a roommate arrangement.
It is a roommate, it's not kind of like, it is a roommate arrangement with a license. And that's the way they live. You do your thing, I do my thing. In that scenario, they don't have any future plans together. How can you? You don't have plans of retirement. You don't have plans of building a retirement home. You don't have plans of where you're going to retire. I wonder what these people are really thinking. Down the line, what would you do?
And then the children are there. The kids are there calling mom and calling dad. You know, whatever explanation mom can give to the setup and whatever explanation dad can give, the children grow up with that setting. See, we're all about legacy here. We believe that what we do as a couple, my husband and I, affects what our children do.
Of course it does, because you are the university that they are undergoing. We never go to school to learn about marriage. The only school we go to is our husband, our father and mother. So however way you live as husband and wife, that's what your children are going to do. And that is sad.
And now, how about relating to other people, since they don't have intimacy of their own and they don't have no relationship with each other? How do they see people outside? I mean, do they have relationship with people outside? Some of them, we've heard stories where the man will bring in some ladies in the same home, of course in his bedroom.
Of course, some men, and because you're not getting it at home, more than likely you want to get it from somewhere else, which is bad. But a lot of men have concubines out there, they have girlfriends. I don't know, I wouldn't talk for the women. But
and some ladies go out.
Do the same
thing. They may not bring in a man, but they go out to meet a man.
Yes.
Because they want to satisfy their emotional needs. And they are there with their license. They can do it, but they don't want to do it. They choose not to for some obvious reasons.
For some reasons.
Okay. So then we want to ask, why do people do this? I mean, now that we see that people are doing it, what are those reasons that will make people not to want to be married indeed?
Well, I think the number one reason, excuse or reason that people give is unresolved conflict. Conflict that has persisted and everybody have tried and there is no solution. So people just decide to live within the bounds of that conflict.
So people just don't want to resolve whatever issues
they've tried. If you ask them, they've tried. But conflicts are compromise. That's how you resolve conflict. If you're not resolving a conflict, it means someone does not want to compromise. Everybody is holding their ground. So, and that's what is happening in those homes. Husband says, I'm not going to give up this particular situation. Wife says, if you're not giving it up, I'm not either. So, and that's the stalemate.
So everybody's holding their grounds.
Everybody holds
Probably
their
the
ground.
pastor has spoken, they don't want to listen. The
Friends.
friends have spoken, they don't want to listen.
Mhm.
They probably don't want to go to counseling, and if they did the
They
counselor
didn't want.
has spoken, they don't want to listen.
Mhm.
So they feel that, since I don't want to get a divorce, because I am not bold enough to go file for a divorce, so people say, I don't have the money, let's just manage the situation. They think like we could be under the same roof for the sake of the children.
For the sake of the children, the guys don't want to pay child support, so they just hang him there and wait until the children gets to 18. But there's a problem there. By the time they get to 18, you're too old to start dabbling into other relationships.
Wow. So you see it. I mean, we've had episodes that we've talked about unresolved conflicts. Conflicts are better resolved. They are not to be swept under the carpet, and they can be resolved. It just takes two.
It takes two. It takes two. Other than conflicts, another problem is also lifestyles, and we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about
Together Forever is a team of marriage mentors and relationship coaches dedicated to helping singles, couples, and families to maximize their potential. Call us for all of your family enrichment seminars, conferences, picnics, and workshops. We speak at churches, clubs, association groups, and companies. Call Together Forever at 713-498-6211. Single and engaged couples, start your marriage right. Call 713-498-6211. Married couples, you don't have to die in silence anymore. There is help for your marriage and family. If you are going through a rough phase in your marriage, call us before you call your divorce lawyer. We may not have been there when you made your marriage vow, but we are here to help you keep your vow. Pick up the phone now and call 713-498-6211 or send us an email at info@togetherforever.org.
And then one other reason that people who are married live as singles is lack of trust. No one trusts the other. Husband can't trust wife. Wife can't trust husband. And without trust, there is no teamwork. Without trust, you cannot go anywhere. So people just decide, I can't trust him, I can't trust her. I'll do my thing, let her do her thing. We're not getting a divorce yet because there's no reason to get a divorce, but we can't work together. So that's a very good reason why a lot of people get one reason
You know
why
what?
we get into
That trust issue also can come to in a point or in a situation where the man is probably, or the woman, one of them is promiscuous, going outside or maintaining multiple intimate partners, and then you get to a point where the one partner says, you know what, I don't trust you, I don't know if you got anything, so I don't want to be infected by something.
I don't know who you've been with.
So I want to keep you away from me.
That's also certainly one explanation for those people that live that lifestyle, not trusting one another. Sometimes the woman is not doing it anymore, but she's done it or he's done it once.
In the past.
And there's no forgiveness. The one is holding on to that and saying, because you did it before, how am I sure you're not doing
to do it again?
And if you're not doing it now, who knows? You might do it again in the next 10 years. So I'm not going to put myself in that situation.
And sometimes it could be finances.
It could also
that
be.
one couple or one spouse either mismanages their finance, at one time or the other, and then the other one just just clamps down on the saying, no, I'll keep my money, you keep your money.
We share the bills.
We share the bills, you pay
what
this
you're
bill.
supposed to pay, I pay what I'm supposed to pay.
Right, so that lack of trust that you're talking
It
about.
stretches to finances. It stretches to all kinds of stuff. If you don't have trust, it affects a whole lot of things. Things fall apart when there is no trust.
Wow.
Yes.
So then, what are the reasons?
The last reason, of course, is our background. There are people, for instance, the children that are growing up under that environment. That's the marriage they are going to grow up knowing. So they know that mommy lives downstairs, daddy lives upstairs. That's how marriage is done. So when they get married, they would have to be debriefed. If they're not debriefed, that's their concept of marriage. So background and lifestyle is also one reason. I've had some men that wonder why other men share the same bedroom with their wife. Because as far as they know, their dad never shared a bedroom with their mom. Their dad lived in a different bedroom, their mom lived in a different bedroom. And that's what they know to be marriage. So that could be one explanation.
Now there is also some cultural issues here too. And we need to mention that. There are some families, like way back when, forefathers or grandfathers or father, elderly in that generation, and they know why. So some of them married like 2, 3, 4 wives, and of course they cannot sleep they cannot sleep in the same room or stay in the same room with all the wives, So they choose to. In those days, they have their own honey. You know these things more than myself. That's way back then. But there's still some grandparents that they're not polygamists, but they just don't sleep in the same room.
That's their lifestyle.
Not because there's a fight. I don't know what the reason is.
But those kind of parents don't really have a padlock on their door. It's just their lifestyle.
Right.
You have your room, I have my room. Well, matter of let's have our space. But they're a little bit different from what we're talking about.
Right.
These people we're talking about today are people who really want to be on their own. They put a padlock to their door. When they leave the house, their door is locked. When they cook in the kitchen, they take it upstairs or they take it to their bedroom and all those things. People are really consigned, and I'm wondering, you can do those things in other cultures, but in the US, where you have one kitchen, if you're not going to share bed with me and you cook your food, aren't you concerned that I might put some stuff in your food?
And some of them are concerned that they might put some stuff in there, and that's why they have to lock their house and have their own refrigerator in their room.
Aren't you concerned that you might be asleep and someone will come and knock you out?
They have their own refrigerator in their own room, they have their own microwave in their own room. They cook on the stove and they pack their food, and people were saying this is the height of bondage.
If you are that untrusting, why don't you just separate? There's no point staying in the same place and being that concerned about your well-being.
And the children that you think you're protecting by being under the same roof, you're messing them up big time.
Messing their psyche up.
Big time, because what happens is they're going to grow older, and when they get married, they'll be the first one. If there's a girl, she'll be the first one to move out once she has a fight with her husband, because that's what she's used to. If it's a boy, he'll be the first one to order his wife out of the master bedroom, because that's what he's used to. So you're constantly messing these children up. There are certain things, couples, you are old enough to process and manage it. Your children are not old enough to process those things. If your parents gave you a chance to life, to grow up and make up your own decision, you ought to give your children a chance. If it's not working between mom and dad, you need to let them know, but don't mess up their head, mess up their mind. And even in those situations, you see either the mom trying to get the children against their father, or the father trying to get the children against their mom. It can get very messy.
It does get messy, and it's already messy because just by the fact that dad and mom are living that kind of lifestyle is sending a lot of wrong signals to the kids. You wish that was the only lifestyle that they are seeing, but they go to other families. They see other husbands and wives, and they see them living differently than you're living. So all those conflicting messages are going through their head. They don't know which one is right, whether what you're doing, mom and dad is doing is right, or whether the other people are doing is right. So those things are problems. But we want to talk about those people who are already in it. If you're already living that lifestyle, is that the end of it? Is that the end of your life, or end of your marriage? Or is there a way out?
You know, if you found yourself in that situation, we want to let you know tonight that is not the right situation. Yes, you have probably carried on with this lifestyle for 10 years, 5 years, or 3 years. That does not make it right.
No, it doesn't.
This is a wrong way to live. So we need to get you out of that situation. And hopefully the man and the woman, whoever is involved, they're watching together tonight. You ought to understand that's not the right way. Yes, I've lived with my peace since 3 years, since I've been doing my own thing. You might as well be single. But the point is that you are not single. Marriage has its responsibilities, and one responsibility is oneness. We gotta be together as one.
That's the whole idea of marriage, that you become one. So if you're not becoming one, it's a process that you never end. You never say, well, we already have become one, so we're not going there anymore. No, it is a process that continues until death. So if you're not working towards it, it is not a good thing. And you can go back and say, okay, we either married or we are not. But since we're married, let's be married for real. Let's enjoy all the trappings of our marriage. Let's enjoy all the benefits of our marriage.
So then if you find yourself, like we were saying, in this kind of situation, one of the things, honey, that I think that couple can do is to start by having an open communication.
Open communication.
Somebody has to stop somebody and say, you know what, we need to talk.
Yes. Remember what I said before? The reason why you have unresolved conflict is because someone is not bulging. Everyone is holding their ground. But you can take the first step and say, honey, we've had this for too long. We can turn around and begin to talk. Why don't we talk? Start from talking to each other. What are those areas that they're hurting? Talk it over. Go back. Don't be ashamed to go back to your pastor and say, look, I know you've talked to us before, but I think we're ready for resolution now. Even in conflict resolutions, they ask both parties, are you all ready to resolve it? If you're not ready, nothing happens. So when you're ready, things begin to happen.
And please, if your spouse approaches you and say, you know what, we need to talk, please, with an open mind, talk. You know, like my husband said earlier, you're married. That is the best life. You might as well just enjoy it. How many years do you have here on earth? How many years, you know, that you want to put yourself in that kind of a bondage? No, you think that you've been peaceful. You have not been peaceful. You have not been peaceful. You're not enjoying the status quo. Why do you want to go on with it? So, you know, talk about it. And what else could they, you know, could these couples do?
Talk about it. Start resolving those conflicts. Someone would have to give up something. That's how conflicts are resolved. The purpose of that communication will be to resolve that lingering conflict. Wherever you stopped before, whatever thing was the issue, go back and address it. Someone would have to give up something for this conflict to be resolved. If you're still holding your ground, then you're not ready for a resolution. Especially if you're the one who is taking the initiative. Give up some things. It may be you're right, but trust me, the things you will gain back will be a whole lot more than what you will lose. So that's how conflicts are resolved. And once you do that, walk it towards the point of becoming one again. Find a way to manage your finances jointly. Find a way to share the same room. If your wife is or husband is one, it's the reason why you moved out, to resolve those issues and then begin to live as one.
And then some people are listening to us and they're thinking, what strange thing. Yeah, it was strange to me until a few years back when we started not only hearing but seeing these things happen. You know, so if you're in that position and you're saying, what is this? I have a piece of advice for you. And that is, if you have any conflict with your husband, if you guys had a fight or a quarrel or something, make up your mind that you are not going to leave your master bedroom for nothing.
I think that's the last position you want to give up.
You're
for the
not
guy,
leaving.
that's your palace. And for the lady, that's also your palace.
Because some people get mad again, you know, at their spouse, and they run to the master bedroom because they're upset. No, not master bedroom. The guest bedroom.
They start from the couch.
You know, they go to the couch in the living room, and then they go to.
After a while, they go to the guest room.
We made up. It's a rule in our house. I don't care how upset you are. We fix it before we go to bed. You know, and we are sleeping on our bed, our master bedroom. We're not sleeping in the guest room, not in the couch, not in the kitchen, not in the office, not anywhere.
Not in the hotel.
Not in the hotel. You know why? By the time you have to sleep together, somehow, if you haven't made it up before then, somehow during the night you're gonna make it up. At least enough not to kill each other that night. You know? So make up your mind that you're gonna do that. But viewers, our time goes so fast. Before you know it, it's done. So we thank you for listening or for watching us. We've come to the end of this program, this episode. We also invite you back next week, same station, same time. Please tune in and watch us.